That's a little folded piece of foil, accordion-style folded piece of foil that vibrates, and you don't see those a whole lot, and usually the people using those have other mics in their collection because they're just sort of a specialized thing.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything with there? Any gaping holes in that?
Feels good to me.
Yeah. So Dan, why would you choose one over another in that sort of 3 or 4?
Well, first of all, let's talk about, dynamic mics are very versatile. Built like tanks. They're often used in radio stations. They are used on instruments. Great microphones. But because of their mechanical nature in the way that they pick up sound, they generally need a little bit more sound pressure level in order to reach their full potential. So in other words, the source sound has to be kind of loud. Or you have to work the mic really up close to make that work. So that's not always ideal for what we do in voiceover, because often a voiceover read is barely over a whisper. It could just be right down in here, right? So a dynamic microphone is not going to perform as well as a condenser microphone, which works electronically to capture sound. Now, as a ribbon microphone, because that's typically going to be bidirectional or figure 8 in its polar pattern, that introduces room noise and things of that nature. So that can be problematic. So that's why we tend to not use those unless we have a really good treated room. And they're also very delicate. And then the USB microphone, that's just newer technology, and there's not nearly as many choices out there as there are in any of these other types that we've been using for decades. So that would really be the reason why we tend to, gravitate towards the large diaphragm condenser first and foremost in voiceover.
Yeah, and you get a wider frequency response from the large diaphragm condenser mic. It can represent reality better and sometimes enhance things, as opposed to a dynamic, like you say, that require a bit more input.
Yeah, I mean, if you're putting a dynamic microphone on a drum set or on a guitar cabinet or something like that, you're certainly not going to have any problem getting the power you need from those instruments to really get a great sound from them. On the other hand, like I said, because voiceover, sometimes it's just right down in here, right? Or just barely over a whisper, a dynamic microphone just isn't going to pick that up nearly as well. Yeah.
So let's talk price points then with these. Are we talking sort of USB, a cheap dynamic and the condenser or more expensive? Or is it that straightforward, or is it more of a mixture?
I think it's a mixture at this point, because while USB microphones, in my experience, and I recently did a big mic shootout with several USB microphones, not all of them were the cheapest. So it's becoming more of a mix for sure. But on the other hand, there are certainly, you can certainly get, I mean, for goodness sakes, the Shure SM58